Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Friday, October 3rd, 2014. My name is Talutha, also known as the Sucky Gamer, and welcome to another edition of the Sucky Show. Today featuring episode number 2 of Shadowhand. An amazing, well, so far it's been amazing. We'll see what the future weeks have been, but it's based off the amazing system called Numenera. Which has been also translated into something called the Strange, which is what they're calling the whole system is the cipher system, and it's so good. It's such an awesome system, and I'm happy to be playing it. And we're going to be seeing more of the system with the other group. We'll be starting that most likely this next week when we go into the Strange. That's a newer system made by the same people using the same rule set as Numenera, and it's a different setting, a really interesting setting, and it's going to be cool to see how that stuff kind of comes together and does all that fun stuff. So I am going to go ahead and we're going to jump over to all of these people. See if I get this right. Boom! Awesome. I'm gonna bring them up, and then I can unmute myself. Hello.
Why, hello.
Hello.
There's everyone. So we should be set up now. Everything looks good. Are all of you in good high spirits? Is anyone not ready?
We are ready.
Okay.
To go.
Well, if you want to go ahead and start, starting with Shub there, if you want to introduce yourselves and the characters you are playing.
Sure. So I'm Shub, at Shub on Twitter, and Tushub, T-E-H Shub on Twitch TV. I'm playing Tuck, who is a tongue-tied glaive who fuses flesh with steel. That's it.
And Sol, if you want to go next.
I am Sol Anthea. I play Skylar in Numenera, who is an intelligent jack that explores dark places.
And Yuki.
I'm Michael Shirayuki. I am playing Shiro, the stealthy glaive who wears a sheen of ice.
And Eve.
Hi, I'm Eve. I am playing Nearest, and I am a clever nano who wields power with precision.
Oh, that sounds so cool. All these characters sound really cool, and they did a great job last week. Did anyone do anything interesting during the past week that you want to talk about? Anything fun or exciting? No?
But of course, I was vacuuming my driveway.
You mean your neighbor was?
Well, yeah, but I co-opted what they were doing. And
Well,
brought it to
you're
myself.
Canadian, aren't you, Eve?
Yes, I am.
So I guess that would stand to reason if you were also vacuuming your driveway that all Canadians then vacuum their driveways for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's a total thing up here. It's a total thing.
Your camera's acting all weird. It's like jumpy. Is it doing that for anyone else?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's what it is. It's Skype that's trying to compensate for the low lighting. I didn't want to mess with the settings.
I got you. Okay. All right. Well, if anyone vomits because of that, then I guess that's okay. I apologize to everyone yesterday. I obviously didn't make the Strange session. We were going to start that yesterday. There were some bad storms over here in the Dallas area with 70 to 90 mile an hour winds. And the city's actually pretty messed up from what I understand. I know there were some trees blown down where I am. And I think they were saying there was like 300,000 people total without power. And I think there's still a good majority of people. Mine came up, luckily, around 6 this morning. It kind of scared me because I left everything on. You know, when your power goes out, you don't generally think to turn everything off. And I'm sitting there sleeping. And suddenly all this music starts playing. All my lights turn on. And I'm just... I was completely scared out of my wits. So that's what happened to me. It
was pretty bad. I live just basically right down, I guess, outside of town from you, and I mean, it was really bad. And we've had schools closed, and
are the schools closed? Oh man.
Yeah, we've had Arlington schools. The whole ISD was closed all day.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize it was that bad. I know a lot of I know they showed that Baptist church that got its roof just completely blown off. It's crazy. I mean, we think about tornadoes when that stuff happens, and then this was just really strong winds. I didn't realize you lived so close to me. That's weird. Can you stalk me a little less?
I probably could. Yeah, actually, yeah.
All right. So that's basically what's been going on. Before
You're
we
the only one that doesn't live near anybody.
I was just thinking that I'm like totally the lone person out here,
where does Yuki? Where do you
all
live?
by my lonesome.
Near Seoul.
Near Seoul? Oh, up in that New Yorky area.
He's
I
about
mean-
an hour from me.
Everyone that lives in New York lives in New York City. So I guess that's
Much to the ire of everybody else that lives in New York.
well, there's only one city in that whole area, isn't there?
Only one that has skyscrapers.
Before we get started, let's make a few changes to your character sheets. Actually, we don't need to make a whole lot. One thing we do need to change in particular is your recovery roll. If you look on your character sheets, you should see the recovery roll on there, the D6 plus, and there's a blank there. It's actually going to be a D6 plus 1. That'll be your tier level. So whenever you go up a tier, it'll be a D6 plus 2, then 3 all the way up to 6. So you can get that, and it should calculate it automatically if you roll that. Another thing I want to make sure that we know about is in combat. I don't know. Did all of you watch that video that I linked that Monty Cook did? Okay, awesome. You guys know about effort and stuff. Then another thing is that I know this is probably going to be more important for Shub, but you can, if you want to deal +3 damage in combat, you can also use your effort for that. So you can use it either to decrease the difficulty, or you can apply that and do +3 damage should you hit. So that'll be something important for you.
Absolutely.
And then XP. I don't know who spent their XP and whatnot. I know Yuki got that his 1 edge and intellect. But if you wanted to, that you see, there's like a bunch of different blanks down there, and I just want to point out what those blanks signify. I don't know if anyone looked that up, but if you want to advance your character, which is right here, you can spend your XP. You can reduce the cost for wearing armor. That option lowers the might by 1 and the speed cost by 1. So that might be important to shoot. We'll start going into these as we get more used to the system. I'll start keeping track of time a lot better, and things like that will make a lot more sense. I kind of gave y'all a pass on that last time, and I'll probably give you a pass next few weeks, because that's pretty complicated, trying to keep track of the hours that you're wearing your armor, and you're slowly just depleting those might and speed pools. You can also spend 4 XP to add 2 to your recovery rolls. So you can move that up to 3. That would also count as the 4 to level up, the 4 things to level up. If you can also spend 4 XP to get a new move, whether that's a fighting move for the glaives, a new esotery for the nanos, or a new trick of the trade for the jacks. So you can use that 4 XP to earn more moves, so to say. And that should be everything I had. I think that's all the questions we had. I also did helping wrong last week, so every time Sola helped, she should have actually helped Eve and all those things. But we'll fix that this week if anyone actually wants to help each other and get that accomplished. So did anyone else have any questions about any of the mechanics and stuff? I think that video explained things pretty well. Nope. Yep. Okay. I'm just going to assume everyone's silence is a yes, we understand everything that's going on. So if we're ready, we can go ahead and jump in. If we remember last week, if you transport your minds 1 billion years into the future, from what you understand, 8 great civilizations have risen and either fallen or transcended or left of the planet entirely. And you guys take place in the 9th world. Your story takes place in the 9th world, or the 9th age. And you were sent by the king of Thamor, Holva the First, to take this message to King Saur Mantir in the land of Ansuin, which we actually have a map of Ansuin on your screens. I think that's still up there from last week. And you guys ran into a little bit of trouble. You got in a little bit of a combat situation. You did all sorts of stuff. And what ended up happening is the Iron Wind came. You ended up taking cover in a cave. And met an interesting little character that now has you, I guess, for lack of a better word, trapped inside of this situation, and you're trying to get out. You thought you were out, realized you weren't, and now you're stuck in there still. And Gliz is asking, are there characters human? Yeah, they're all human, human like, and that seems odd. I guess I'll talk about this a little bit. That seems odd, contrary to being a billion years in the future. The people of the Ninth World don't really understand. They wouldn't assume anything's wrong that they're human, but there's kind of something in the back of their mind that they didn't really, and this would be in the back of all your characters' minds too, because this is in the back of everyone's mind, that they didn't really evolve per se. So they're not quite sure where they came from. So you can use that however you want. They're humans, and they don't know anything's weird about that. You guys don't know anything's weird about that, but it's still odd to you guys. It just feels weird, I guess, if that makes any sense at all. You know, it's one of those I don't know where I came from things, and you kind of want to figure it out. So exactly where we left off was Master, as it was so named by Nearest here, was left y'all in the middle of the city, Ansuin, and Shiro had a bunch of naked women on him. Both Tuck and Nearest had some really beautiful clothed women draping off them, and Sol was just kind of by herself, kind of just doing her thing. So that's exactly where we are. You just got teleported. He disappeared, and you're back in the center of the city, and action.
Whoa.
I'd like to continue what I was going to do at the end of last session and draw my strong glass blade and start chopping up all the women around me.
Chopping up. Okay.
Did you say something along the lines of, I need you to do something? I forgot what it was called.
He needs us to power him.
That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Right. Well, Shiro draws his blade just like he says, and he just starts chopping up the women. There's blood everywhere. You know, parts are flying everywhere. I imagine it's something like just a butcher's table, but he's on the floor in the middle of the street just kind of hacking. And as you keep hacking these people, more and more naked women just come out of the buildings around you, and it's really up to you whether you want to keep hacking at these women or not.
As he's doing that, I call it for Master. I start calling his name. It's like, Master, I need to talk to you.
Nothing happens.
I'd like to continue now screaming in rage as more come out.
As the girl, I disapprove of the slaughtering of fake women. Just want to put that on record. I don't approve.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't approve either. So I'm just going to keep calling for Master and like tell him that it's urgent, or not urgent, but important.
So
and
basically,
I want to look around and see if there's anything going on.
Basically, what I'm understanding is that there's one guy just shouting, "Master, Master!" There's another guy just hacking away at people on the street. Skylar's just sitting there pointing at Shiro saying, "I don't approve of this." And Tuck is just standing there, just looking.
He's shaking his head. He's just sitting there shaking his head.
Just
Never should have poked and prodded, guys.
Just probably the oddest scene you could ever witness in anything.
Good start for the night.
There's got to be an easier way to power him.
Well, you keep shouting Master, and nothing's happening as Shiro's just hacking away, I guess. Keeping in mind, Shiro, you're not getting tired. These women, for some reason, are very easy to cut up. It seems like the bones aren't really impeding you as much as you'd expect.
I hope he doesn't have personal experience with that.
I stop.
No words.
Okay.
So we're teleported back to Glavis then, right?
Yes, you're in Glavis, correct.
Guys, what if we go, like, just start walking back towards the cave where we found the being with the screwed up face and kind of see if we can, I don't know, confront him there?
Well, if we're all trapped here still, we're technically still in that room, wouldn't we be?
Yeah,
You
but
just like how he did with those weird spheres before when we couldn't breathe. I wonder if this is the same thing.
Well, it's what's around us, right? It's not real. So even if we walk back to where we are, we're just going to walk around in the room because we know that there's that bubble around us. I'd like to start looking around carefully, like at the floor, for any kind of optical illusion or inconsistencies or anything that might suggest that there's an actual physical presence around us, like the wall. So start moving south using the leaf and go south, so see if we can find the wall.
yeah,
Okay.
so I'm gonna follow nearest.
Me too.
Well, you take out the leaf, and it actually doesn't grow cold as you pointed to the south.
Now you
Which way
broke the
is
leaf.
grown cold?
But
Oh.
if all of you
Can
want,
I?
yeah.
I was going to say, can I sense anything in the Numenera around us? Like, can I see if there's something affecting us, or is it different now?
Let me. What do you have any type of skills? What skills do you have?
I'm trained in Numenera, and of course I'm a nano, so I'm just kind of thinking that maybe because I can maybe see the nanites, that possibly there's something going on.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a d20 for me. And then, since you're skilled in the Numenera, let's say this is going to be a challenging thing, but you can bring that down to a difficult, so level 4.
I'd like to use. Is this going to be an intelligence roll?
It is, yes.
I'd like to boost it, or whatever the correct term is. Is it
Okay.
boosting?
No, it'd be using effort. See, shoot,
Yeah, sorry, effort, yeah.
You're confusing people now with your boosts
Yeah, I
and
know,
treats.
it's like the whole boost thing, right? Yeah, I'd like to use effort,
Okay.
and just so you know, at the end of last session, I bought another edge in intelligence, so that'll cost me 1.
Okay. So that would only cost you 1. Perfect. Awesome. So that'd bring it down to a 3. Okay. So as you're looking around, I imagine you're concentrating really hard, and what flashes in your mind, you see it just for a quick second. Everyone seems to be kind of tied up in this human-shaped thing, and there's tubes coming out of all of you, and you see it just for a second. It just flashes in front of you, and you're back exactly where you are in the middle of the city.
Okay. So I'm going to talk to my companions. I was like, guys, we aren't here. I just saw us in some kind of machine, and he has us trapped, like plugged into something, and we got to figure out a way to get out.
What did you
Sounds
see
good.
exactly?
Just us literally tied up by weird metallic cables that might seem to be entering our bodies or something. It was strange, very, very strange.
And you would probably refer to those metallic cables as synth. Synth is pretty much the common nomenclature for any type of unknown metal or anything like that. What people are using, most things are made out of synth, whether it's a soft type of synth like cloth or a more metallic type of synth like steel or iron.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so there's like synth things going in us.
So Tuck is like
Lovely.
looking around, and he's trying to find out where the tube is actually coming into.
We're not real, Tuck. This is all an illusion.
We
Well,
can't
it's
actually
sort of real.
reach our outer bodies, right?
No. You could kind of reach around you and kind of like Tuck was doing.
Well, what I meant is if I was to use ice armor, would it affect where we were?
Oh, you could try.
I'd like
I
to do
want to
that.
try something as well.
And I kind of step a little bit away from him as he does his ice armor.
Well, you use your ice armor. Both you and Tuck kind of sheen up in ice, and nothing happens.
I would like to try and use Onslaught, but not in my mind, but in the physical reality that I'm aware of outside.
Okay. This is going to be an
'Cause-
incredibly difficult task if you want to use that on the outside. I would say that that'd be a level 7, honestly. A formidable task.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Okay.
See what a 7 is?
Oh, yeah.
7
You'd have to roll a 21.
You have to roll 21. Okay. Just
So,
thinking, just
Yeah.
thinking.
So in that situation, I mean, you take the level and multiply it by 3. So 6, you have to roll an 18 or higher. As soon as you get to 7, 8, 9, or 10, these are things for extraordinary individuals. They're not something you can do regularly on a D20 because there's only 20 on a dice. So you would have to do something that lowers that difficulty down using assets and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what we could consider to be an asset as such in this situation, because I'm having a hard time conceptual. I can just use an awful lot of effort.
You can use up to
Can
one
I
level
use-
of effort.
I can use one level. You're right, one level of effort. That's still not going to get us very far.
It'd bring it down to doable.
Well, potentially doable.
With very high
Yes,
luck.
yes. With exceptional luck. I'd like to bring it down 2 levels. We just got to try and figure out another way to do it.
You could use your XP.
No, I can't.
Could I help
that's it.
him do that? Would that bring if I help him
Uh,
since we
on-
get both one?
Onslaught is an attack of some kind.
Oh, okay.
If you could somehow rationalize it to me how you would help him use Onslaught, I would allow you.
Well, I'm just going to explain it in character.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and use my mind to throw the synth off of you. And I have to figure out a way to focus enough attention to the outside instead of where we think we are, but to where we really are. So if you guys have any suggestions how I can increase my focus.
Nothing from Tuck. I mean,
Wow, that's tough. I mean, we have. Can the Dracs do their daily tricks, or did we would have had to have done it before we started?
You would have probably had to do that before you start. You should have your same daily thing as from yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, we should have switched it.
Well, if you wanna do it, you're at a level 6 right now. If anyone else wants to try anything, then
Yeah, I'm going to give it a shot, and
Alright.
we'll see.
So this will cost 1 pool out of your intellect, and you roll a 6. So what happens is you cast Onslaught in this world that you're in, and somehow, while Skylar was sitting there trying to figure out how to help you, the Onslaught happens to launch and hit her. And so, Skylar, I will need you to make a speed defense roll. So roll a d20, and that'll be on your speed. And to jump out of the way, that will be a pretty difficult task because you're sitting there in concentration. So you'll need to roll a 12 or higher.
Tal, can Tuck do anything like jump in the way or anything like that?
Yeah, you could, but knowing that Skylar
Like
already
bodyguard
rolled,
style.
yeah, that's entirely possible in this. In situations like that where you want to defend, there wouldn't be any roll check. You would actually just step in front of the attack, take full damage plus 1. So there's not really a way. You wouldn't be defending anything. You'd just be sitting there,
Absorbing the damage.
absorbing everything. So you successfully jump out of the way, and the onslaught explodes into the building behind you. And that will be our first GM intrusion. So Sol, you get 2 experience points. You get 1 for yourself because that onslaught came to you, and you get 1 to give to another player.
I'll give to Eve since he's the only one that tried to do something so far.
Yeah, keeping in mind that he's the one that shot you. Okay.
But he missed.
That's perfectly okay.
I have other issues with you, nearest. We'll talk about this when we get out.
So Skylar and Nearest both get 1 XP from that intrusion. And you're back to where you were.
So we're still stuck in this weird world
Mhm.
that we can't get out of. And Master isn't responding.
Mhm.
He said something about being buried in a desert or in sand.
Beach.
Well, wasn't that? Do you think it was where we were? Well, where we are, I guess.
It could be. I say I'm gonna go to the beach and start looking through the sand.
Okay. Is there a beach around y'all at all? Let me look at the map here.
There's
Well,
I guess you mean where the
Looks
boat was, right?
Q&A.
Water.
Yeah, there's not really a beach anywhere in the area of Glavis. It kind of just turns into like the port, and if you go outside the city, they're kind of jagged rocks that just kind of go into the ocean. But if you wanted to try to find some sand somewhere, I guess you guys really probably could go anywhere you want, technically.
Could I? I'm trained in searching. What if I were to try to find like anything out of the ordinary that doesn't look right, that we might be able to see or use to get out? I guess higher perception, probably.
Yeah.
Just to...
I'm going to give that the same difficulty that Nearest had, and I'm going to say
was
that's
it?
level 7. Your 1 skill would bring that down to a 6. And then if you wanted to do any effort, that would be an intellect task. That would be down to a 5.
All right, I'll do that, and that takes 3 points out, right?
Do you have an edge in intellect?
Yes. So
Then that would be 2.
Can I help Skylar?
Do you have any skills in searching?
So Tuck is trained in perception. Can he roll on that too, or no?
Yeah, we could do that as well. You could either help Skylar out, or that would give her a +1, because I'll take that perception and allow you to help her with searching on that. That would give her a +1, or you could try your own separate roll, and that would start out at 7 too, so 6 with perception.
But it would be 4 with me. Because I started at 7, my skill went down to 6, and then I used my effort would bring it to 5. But if Tuck helped me, it would bring it to 4.
No, it would add +1 to the roll.
Oh, +1. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, which one do you think? So, which one do you think would be better? You could roll. You'd roll a 5, right? Or you'd have to roll a 5.
I'd have to roll a 15.
Right.
Or higher.
So you'd have to roll a 14 if I help you, or I could do a separate roll and I'd be trying to get an 18, I guess.
Mhm. Keeping in mind, you can also use your XP to re-roll and take the better of the 2 rolls.
That's a good point. Yeah, why don't I help Skylar,
Okay.
and gives her a +1.
Can I also help by explaining to her that this is a function of the Numenera, and try and explain that these are the nanites that are interfering with her mind, so maybe she'll be able to determine something through that? Because this is all in the mind, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you a +1 for that. So that'd be a +2.
All right.
No.
So roll the 5 and then +2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh.
God damn it.
Well, you look around and you find an anthill in the corner next to this building.
Reroll.
But it's peculiar because there's no ants in it. So you spent all your time looking at this hill.
I'll use an XP to reroll it.
Okay.
Oh my god. I'm not rolling anymore.
It's just going nowhere.
You poke your hand into the anthill, your finger, and there's definitely no ants inside. After let's say an hour of looking at this anthill, you've concluded that it is just a pile of dirt.
Or somebody else do something. Don't all jump at once.
Would it be possible to wake someone else up?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm just thinking out loud. How would you do that?
So Tuck runs over to the nearest naked lady and starts shaking her and says, "Wake up! Wake up!"
She is appears to be getting aroused by your shaking her.
My kind of woman. No, I'm kidding.
I was not expecting that.
You've now successfully attracted one woman off of Shiro, and she is now hanging on to you.
I'm going to make another attempt to ask Master to talk to me. So I'm just like, Master, I'd like to talk to you. I know what's going on.
Okay. What he does is he kind of ports you away. So the other three are there. They just see you kind of disappear after you say that. And you're in a room with this guy. And he just says, I know what you've seen. There's no way out.
There is a way out. There's always a way out. Are you plugged in as well?
No, you are plugged into me.
Okay. I can tell my companions and teach them that this is real and they won't struggle anymore. But in return for that, let me go. I'm going to use... Can I use trickery and lies on that? If that is going to be an option?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll on that. This is a pretty difficult task. I'll take that as a 4, so your trickery and lies would bring that down to a 3, since you're lying to this being.
Can I use effort on that as well? Is that going to be intelligence, I imagine?
That would be intelligence, yes.
Okay, I'd like to use effort as well.
Okay, so that'd bring it down to a 2.
We're doing really good.
Well, as you say it, and keep in mind that anyone else can spend their XP to have you reroll at any given time. So anyone.
I'm going to roll that.
Okay, you want to reroll that? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of guiding y'all's hands along here, but I'm just trying to, y'all are learning, so.
We appreciate that, Tal.
Okay, there you go. So he kind of considers you for a second, and either by, since you're a nano, you've somehow blocked this part of your brain off from him able to see this deception. He considers you for a moment, and he just says, "And you guarantee the others will not give me any more trouble?"
I guarantee it.
And as soon as you say that, you port back to where the others were standing, and there's a lot of blood and body parts everywhere.
I'd like
Guys,
to be sitting on the ground drinking alcohol.
All right.
Yeah, I see that. You're
At some
drinking
point, you've wished for alcohol, and now you're drinking as much of it as you want, and nothing's happening. You don't feel any effects of inebriation upon you. But the alcohol is the finest ale you've ever tasted.
I figured it out.
You figured what
I
out? Where'd
know.
you go?
I found a way. What you need to do is you need to accept this. Through accepting this, it's going to become real. And through it becoming real, you'll be able to move. Just trust in me, and it will happen.
Wait, how would we be able to move if we make this real?
Through making it real, your mind is going to disconnect itself. And in doing so, you'll be able to control your body properly. So just accept what you see around you as what is happening. And through that, everything's going to turn out okay.
How?
It's a nanite thing. This is how your mind is going to work. This is how you're going to regain control of your body. You just have to accept everything that's going on as happening for real, and everything is going to work out.
I'm not- Oh, go ahead.
I'd like to point out, if this becomes real, I'm a mass murderer.
It becomes real the moment you make it real, Shiro, not what you've done.
Okay, then.
So I'm not ready to believe in this lie. This is all a lie, and I can't accept this lie as reality.
Tuck, you need to believe what's around you and accept it so that we can get out of here.
How did he agree to let us out?
He didn't agree to let us out. What we're doing is we're going to break the system.
How do we know this is really Nearest and not him playing tricks on us and getting us to accept his version of reality?
He's not that smart. You know that, Tuck. Besides...
He's had a lot of time to be smart and trick.
Yeah. No, he was pretty dumb. You guys know that. It's me. Just believe in this. Trust me. It will work.
Well, he did lie the last time to us.
He said he
No,
would
he
let
didn't.
us out. Yeah, he said
He
he'd let
did.
us out.
I know.
He did
He
not.
let us out
We're
into
still
this.
stuck. Yeah, he let us out, and we're still stuck as these, like, I don't even know what we really are. He didn't really let us out.
This is going to work. If you accept it, it will work.
Crickets.
I think Nearest needs to prove that this is really Nearest.
Okay, well, how do you want me to do
I
that?
concur.
I can tell Tuck. In fact, I'm going to take Tuck aside and I'm going to whisper to him very, very quietly. And it's like, I
Close
know.
with the secrets again.
At this point,
Well,
some
it's a
medieval
secret
janitors.
for Tuck and I.
At this point, some medieval janitors kind of come around and they start like mopping up the street of all the blood and body parts.
Yeah, and I just tell Tuck, I know what you are, Tuck. It's me.
Do you really think that this is the only way through this?
It's the only way I can think of. I mean, do you have a better idea?
Didn't he tell you that this was the only way to do this?
No, this is the way that I'm going to make it work.
Okay, I will trust you.
Can you get the others to believe?
Okay. So Tuck looks over at Shiro and Skylar and says, trust him.
I'd like to throw a knife at one of the janitors.
Okay.
He
Well,
wants to get all his murdering out before it becomes real.
what part of the janitor were you aiming for?
His leg.
All right. Well, the knife cuts into his leg. He starts screaming, falls on the ground, just clutching the wound of this knife that this giant knife made. So now there's a guy screaming. all the other janitors are kind of rushing over to him, clearly worried that this has happened, but no one seems to be giving you any second looks.
I'd like to go and retrieve my knife now.
All right. Well, you successfully pull the knife out of this janitor's leg, and blood just kind of starts squirting out of the wound everywhere.
Okay, so Tuck says, Shiro, are you done playing around?
Yes.
Thank you. And he looks over at Nearest and says, I believe that we can trust Nearest. I think he's telling us the right thing to do. And, yeah.
That's very convincing, Tuck.
I'm really trying here, guys.
Fine. But Nearest, if this goes wrong, I will kill you myself.
You can. I'll allow you to do that.
Can I kill him?
No.
We have a history. I get to kill him.
Yeah, that's for Skylar.
But I'm so good at it.
All I do is I turn around and I say it is done.
Okay. Well, at this point, what happens is you disappear, and you reappear in the original cave that you guys took shelter in. There is no orb pedestal in the middle or anything like that, and all of you are kind of, two are on each wall on either side, stuck in these kind of human-shaped things. And there's two tubes going up your nose. There's a giant tube going down your throat, and you seem to be strapped in. And as soon as you become conscious, the straps release, but the tubes don't come out.
Can I try and get those tubes out of me as soon as possible? Flailing. I'm like, ah!
Yeah, because it's an incredibly painful experience. And as you pull the tubes out, you can feel the tube that's in your mouth. You can actually feel it in the pit of your stomach as it actually moves up through your esophagus and out of your mouth. And the two tubes in your nose, you can kind of feel them. They were actually in your lungs, so to speak. And you can actually feel them coming out at the same time. And as you pull them out, this kind of grayish goo is squirting everywhere and not really stopping.
At least it's not green, right?
I
Tuck?
just want those things out of me, and then I immediately go and unplug Tuck.
Okay, and you've probably taken about 4 points of might damage too because of that and all the excruciating pain and stuff. Okay, if you want to try to pull Tuck out and roll your d20.
Oh man, you're gonna make him roll to see if he saves me?
If he wants to,
Could have pulled me out first. I could have helped him pull you.
if he wants to take you out in that way, in the least damaging way possible, then he's gonna have to roll for it. I won't lie, he'll probably be able to get you out. Just how much pain you go through.
Well, that's why I started with Tuck, because Tuck can take it. So if I screw up, he's not going to die, and then we'll learn something, and we can move on to the next ones.
Okay, so go ahead and roll. This will be a difficult task as well, level 4.
Tuck does not approve of this method.
Is this like an intelligence task, or is this a might task?
Since you're pulling all this stuff off against the will of Master, it'll probably be a might task.
Yeah. Well, I can't use any effort, so this is going to be fun.
Can you not use any effort?
You can take
If I use effort, I would run out of might.
Okay.
already.
I would be incapacitated. Yeah, I'm pretty weak.
Yep, you'd move down the damage track there.
Yeah, and then it would probably be even harder to do.
Keeping in mind you just a little bit of strategic thinking, you could do it, and then you could take your 1 action recovery roll.
Oh, that's a good point. You're smart. Yes, thank you. But I'm going to do just that. That's a good plan. I will apply effort.
Don't
and
expect
I will pull...
Don't expect these hints and tips forever. Okay, if you want to apply effort, that would bring it down to a 3. So you would need to get a 9.
We are doomed.
We are doomed.
We are so doomed.
I thought you said you.
You got
I
the
thought you-
first one.
Yeah, I thought you said you fixed your dice rolls.
Well,
Break
we
yours.
try and do that, but that's a good failure.
You fixed it in the wrong way. You went down.
Did you roll? Was that your roll, the 7?
I mean, if you're not going to accept that as a roll.
Oh, no, I didn't realize. I was waiting for a
It's not a
sound
roll.
effect and I didn't hear it. Okay. Well.
Roll again! Hurry! Roll again!
Clear the chat.
Well, you managed to pull all of the kind of straps in his arms and his legs off. You don't notice, and I'm gonna pull this straight from a popular science fiction movie. You don't notice a giant spike that's gone into the back of his head, and you kind of pull him out of the thing, and the spike just kind of stays into the machine, and now there's just like blood coming out of the back of his head. And Tuck, as soon as that spike has left your head, you pop back into consciousness immediately, and you've taken if he took 4, you've taken 5 might damage because of this.
Ow!
I did the shake of the head the whole time with Grace. Like, I can't bring believe this.
You said
Just a
5,
question.
right?
Mm-hmm.
If my might goes down to 0 and I go impaired, how does that translate into the game? Does that mean like I've essentially like kind of lost consciousness or fallen over, or just trying to conceptualize that?
No,
for me?
you're still perfectly fine. Where is that damage track? I was literally just looking at it. Oh, here it is. Damage track. You are impaired. Effort cost 1 extra point per level. And that can't be right. It should be effort cost 1 extra point per level, and things should take 1. Difficulty should move up 1 step because of that. Let me double check on that.
So it's not like you're unconscious or anything.
No,
You're
you
still
don't. You're not
functioning.
actually. The only things that happen when you take damage, if you run at a stat, is you become impaired. Let me just look it up here. You can still perform actions. The only special thing that happens is if you run out of speed, you actually can't move.
That would be fun. Okay, I was just trying to figure out like how that would look for Nearest to like grab a hold of these things, pull them back, and essentially fall over kind of thing, and be like, oh, I can't. And then Tuck regains consciousness.
Yeah, and let me read this. Impaired is a wounded or injured state. When an impaired character applies effort, it costs 1 extra point per level applied. Okay, so that is the only thing that happens. You lose your special rolls, so 17, 18, or 19 will only deal 1 additional point of damage, and its effort cost 1 extra point. So it's not really as bad as you would imagine. Moving down the damage track isn't punishing until you die, really.
Okay. Well, I'd like to use my recovery roll as Tuck comes out, like my 1 action.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so go ahead and roll your 1d6 plus 1. So you'd get 4 points that you can apply to any stat pool. And you can split those up if you wanted.
Might.
Yep, they all go back into my...
Okay, so you would have 4 might then. So you just take a step back, your head's kind of spinning, and you just breathe in heavily and breathe out, and you feel rejuvenated again, kind of refreshed. And so Tuck, you are out. I imagine that Nearest pulled the things out of your nose and mouth at the same time. So you're laying there on the floor.
Okay, so I'm completely free. I can move around. I've got a really bad splitting headache. Thanks, Nearest.
Most welcome.
So the first thing I do, of course, trying to gain my surroundings and figure out where I am. I'm going to start looking for my weapons.
You actually were never disarmed or anything. You were exactly, if you can imagine when you went into the cave, That's exactly how you are. Plus the extra
Okay.
experience points you got.
Gotcha. Okay. So I go over to Nearest and I check to make sure he's okay. You all right, Nearest?
Yeah, just give me a sec here. I need to recover. Okay. We got to get the other two out.
Okay. So I'm gonna go over to Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo.
Let's get Skylar out.
All right, I'll get Skylar out. Well,
Wait,
I
wait,
mean,
that-
Shiro did get drunk, so he shouldn't be feeling any pain right now anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna basically perform the same move that Nearest did on me,
Okay.
which is basically try to yank everything
I'm going to
out.
show him how it's done, and I'm going to show him the thingy in the back.
Oh,
So you, like,
there's a
try
thingy
and
in the
help him.
back.
Mhm.
Okay, good to know. Thanks, Nearest. So Tuck just kind of leans around and looks behind Skylar's head and kind of fiddles around with the I don't know what it is, like a probe, I guess, or something. That's
Yeah, it's
jammed
kind of
up
like
in
it's
there.
kind of just a spike that is
Right.
jammed into the back of the head. It's
So-
not necessarily very long, but it's in there.
He looks to see if he can like unscrew it or try to unfasten it or something. Not applying too much force, but
Well, when you look at it, it appears to be completely solidified into the wall. It doesn't look like it really detaches at all.
okay. So it's basically connected into the wall and then
Mhm.
straight into her
Yeah.
neck or base of her skull. Okay. Yeah, Nearest, I don't think there's going to be an easy way to do this, man. I mean, it's going to have to be pulled out
Just-
somehow.
Yeah, pull it. Just be careful. And pull it here, and take those tubes and take them out slowly, but quickly.
Okay.
Doesn't make any sense, but you know what I mean.
Slowly but quickly. If you want to pull, if you want to pull Skylar out, that's gonna be a difficulty of 4. With the instruction that Nearest gave you, that will count as an asset in your favor, which brings the difficulty down to a 3.
Okay. Don't suppose I can use like my thrust ability on this or anything like that.
if you can justify
That's
to me
going
how
the
thrust,
opposite direction.
if you can justify
I
to
don't
me how
want it
thrust is gonna
further
work.
in my head, please.
Okay. So you're at a 3, and if you want to apply effort or anything, you can do that. Or if you just want to roll, your target will be a 9. Again, if you can somehow justify how thrust works in this situation,
So gonna kill you, Nearest.
Oh,
Yeah.
I keep listening for the sound, and the sound never comes.
I hear it.
All right.
I heard it too. So
I think it's because I have the window selected. I wish I could make that sound pop up every time. So you roll a 5, and the same thing happens to Skylar. You kind of ignore everything Nearest told you. You rip off the bands, and then I guess what confuses you is the slowly but quickly. As you kind of start slowly pulling her off, then you just kind of pull her straight off the wall, and she just pops right back into consciousness, and blood's kind of just soaking down the back of her neck as well.
Hey, Skylar.
Ow.
Yeah,
Tuck,
sorry about
get
that. You can
Shiro.
blame Nearest over here. He told me to do it.
Somehow I feel like you did it wrong.
Tuck,
And then you would Skylar would also take 5 points of might damage.
Yeah, Tuck.
So
Go grab
Nearest-
Shiro.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you want me to go ahead and do the same thing
Are
over
you
to Shiro?
sure you want Tuck
But-
to do it?
But do it the way I told you this time. Instead of, fast but slow, just smooth. Nice, smooth pull.
Smooth pull. Okay, why didn't you say that the first time?
My bad.
Okay. So,
While he's doing this, I want to start looking around and seeing if we're in any kind of danger or if anything's happening.
Can I do something about the hole in my head?
Yes, actually. This is good for healing. Let's first of all let's pull Shiro out, since that was the first thing that was spoken. So Tuck, if you want to go ahead, that'll start at a 4, go down to 3 for an asset. So target of 9, unless you want to bring that down more.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and apply effort to Shiro
Okay.
to see if I can do this a little bit
That'll be
smoother.
Yep, that'll be 3 out of your might pool minus any edge you have.
Okay. And that brings it down to standard.
Yes, so that'd be 2, goal of 6. Awesome.
There we go.
So this time you heed his advice. You managed to pull Shiro out kind of slowly, enough to where the spike doesn't really rip out, and there's really nowhere near as much blood. And as soon as you pop out into consciousness, as soon as this happens as well, and using what you learned from the tubes being pulled out of you pulling the tubes out of Skylar, you're more gentle with the tubes in Shiro, and he only takes 2 points of might damage. Still extremely painful with these tubes in your stomach and lungs, but you are more well off than the rest of them. When Nearest looks around the cave, he just sees everything. It's like I said, the cave you first came into when the Iron Wind was coming, but it's a cave that's entirely made of this silver substance. And then if y'all want to make a healing roll of some kind, the way healing works in Numenera is you can either use your recovery rolls to kind of recover. If you want to actually heal, every player can heal once a day, whether someone's healing you or you're healing yourself. You can accept 1 heal once a day, and that difficulty is determined by how many hit points you want, or how many points you want to heal them by. So if you want to only heal 1 point, that would be a difficulty of 1. If you wanted to heal up to 10 points, that would be a difficulty of 10.
Wow. So
Okay.
if we roll less than that difficulty number, then we don't get healed at all?
Correct.
Ooh,
So
wow.
if you want to play it safe, heal 1 point. That's your prerogative. You could also bring that down with skills. Like I said, I don't know if you'll know, but there's no list of skills anywhere for Numenera. So if you wanted to be skilled in first aid when you level up or something, when you apply the 4 XP, you could just say, hey, I think I'm going to take first aid as a skill. That would move that difficulty down. That would be an asset in your favor. So kind of think about what skills you guys would want, because that's something that heavily plays into your character. You can think of the pools as kind of just kind of like your mana of sorts, and your skills are your actual abilities, if that kind of makes sense.
How will we know when it's a new day?
When I tell you.
Okay, because like you say, it's like we're forgetting. I don't want to forget to switch my skills up. So,
let's say you were in there for a while. So when you get pulled out, you kind of think about something you want to be skilled in real quick.
I would like to be skilled in healing.
Okay. So for
I'm
today,
going to pull
you're
out my
skilled in
first
healing.
aid kit. I'm going to bring it over to Skylar and help her
Perfect.
because I feel kind of guilty.
Do you want to use that on her, or do you want to give it to her to use?
I will give it to her because, as I said, I feel a little guilty, and she knows how to use it,
Okay.
whereas I don't.
I don't have the first aid kit pulled up. Do you know if that has charges or anything? Does it have a depletion roll?
It's just an asset, but if you want to give a depletion roll, I'm cool with that.
For now, we'll just keep it as a really fancy first aid kit that for some reason replenishes it. Maybe every time you go to town, you just buy some more stuff for it. So, Skylar, you now have a first aid kit, which will be an asset. You have your training in healing, which it will also bring it down by 1. So if you wanted to heal 5 hit points, then that would just be, you'd roll for a target of, for a difficulty level of 3. And then any effort you would want to apply to that.
Which is counterintuitive.
I'll try for 4 because my rolls have been really bad.
Okay. So if that would bring it down to a 2 using the first aid kit and your
Okay.
skill in healing, so your target would be a 6. An 8. Perfect. So you heal 4 hit points of damage.
All right,
Good
fabulous.
call.
Thank you, Nearest.
Are you allowing the PCs to learn skills without storyline? Their class is called a Jack, and Jacks get an ability to where they can learn 1 skill they don't learn it. They can choose one skill at the beginning of every day and be trained in that.